Greeting, everybody. Dave Danto from Talking Points here with another one of my tech perspectives. I want to talk about headsets. I want to talk about earbuds specifically. When we were first using earbuds, when Walkman came out and other things came out, we were talking about this. We were talking about a set of wired things that you stick in your ear. And I haven't used this in a while because the wires make it very difficult to deal with. And then Apple and other companies came out with earbuds that were wireless, and that's kind of become the standard. When you didn't want to have your ears completely blocked up, you were using probably a headset that looked a little bit something like this. There are many different designs, but this is a one ear monaural headset. Let's get it right here. It would hook over the back of your ear and you'd be able to work with it. This one was obviously a Plantronics one, and there are many versions of that. And that's how you would handle. You would have one ear blocked up, and then the other ear would be open for people to talk to you and you to hear what's going on. And it worked. And it was comfortable, but it's different. So there's a new style of headset that I want to show you. Let me show you the case. It's Talking Points. It's really cool. It's a little bright. I don't know if I get the camera to adjust on it, but these headsets now fit over the back of the ear. And again, I got to hold it so you can see it. And they don't go in the ear canal. They go over the ear canal. So it loops around the back, and there are two of them. And now I'm actually wearing a set of them right now. And you may or may not be aware of it, but I'm actually using them to record the audio right now. I've got a USB dongle plugged into my computer, and you're hearing the sound that's coming from these headsets, which is pretty awesome. These are clear Arc 3 for gaming. Only the gaming ones have that adapter. So the other thing that's interesting about the Arc 3s is they do, in fact, come with this really amazing case that has a lot of features. And again, I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to show you on the screen, but this is the screen time out. Obviously, it's showing you charge. This is showing you steps if you're taking walking. You have a hearing care adjustment. I have to look at it to see it. You have equalization adjustment that you have to go into an app. It's a Dolby Atmos if you wanted to use that with head tracking. So there's a lot of capabilities and a lot of features in this case. The first people to come out with the charging case were the Poly headsets that, but again, these are the ones that fit inside your ear. So I still can't use these over-ear headsets for being on an airplane, obviously, because they're not going to block out enough of the noise. But for, jogging, for running, for being outside, they sound great. You would be stunned how deep the bass is for something that's not in your ear canal. When they told me that it went down to 17 hertz, I said, it's impossible. You can't. First of all, you can only hear 20 hertz as a human being, but they put it on and it's got deep, rich, loud bass. Okay, so just for a comparison's sake, because I do want to make sure that you understand what you're dealing with. Right now, you're listening to the microphone on these earbuds that I'm wearing, the clear Arc 3s. Let me switch over to the microphone that's on top of the video bar on top of my system. So now you're listening to what it sounds like when I'm talking to a video bar, which is about 2 feet away from me. And then I have a podcasting microphone here in front of me. I'll switch to that one. Obviously, these are going to sound better, but it's surprising how good they come out. Now there's the podcasting microphone that's in front of me. That's probably the best audio that I can produce. And now I'll switch back to the clear Arc 3 headsets. So these are the clear Arc 3 headsets. Again, I'm sure it's not as good as a podcasting microphone or something that's got a boom in front of my mouth. But if I'm outside, if I'm doing work, if I want to hear what's going on in an office and I don't want my ears blocked, this is really awesome. And another thing I want to show you about these headsets in this case that's really interesting is when you take the headsets out after you put them on your ear and you put them back in the case, they go through a UVC cleaning cycle. If you take a look at that, you can see it on the screen, that it's actually, disinfecting the earbuds, which is really an amazing feature to have in the case. It doesn't have the transmitter that this has to plug into an analog jack, but I don't know how many analog jacks you run into anymore nowadays. So kudos to the Arc 3 people. This is not the only company that's doing this. Here's one that I picked up at CES from, I got to hold it, you can see it, from a company called LightMe. LightMe it's pretty much the same design, but they actually have active noise canceling on an open ear earbud. Now, again, it's not going to be as good as if you had one that was in your ear canal, but it actually does work. You turn on the noise canceling and it drops the ambient noise a little bit. So we have this, we have a bunch of other styles. This is kind of taking over for the one ear monaural headset that a lot of companies had put out in the past. When you want to hear natural sound, my ears are open. I can hear myself clapping. I can hear everything else going on. But I'm wearing these headsets, which again, if you listen to music on them, they sound awesome. So it's an interesting change in the way we're thinking about headsets and technology. Obviously, you can't use them for airplanes. You do want your ear canal blocked in that case, but for everyday use, for being in office, for things where you would want to typically wear an earbud, but you don't want to have your hearing blocked, they're just terrific. Anyway, that was my tech perspective. Take a look at the Clear Arc 3s. They're really good. We'll see you on the next one.